Good morning. We have a Nier Automata VC3 Mod run by Vermillion here. And joining Vermillion over Discord is his good friend and a former runner here, Blue Metal. So I'm going to hand it over to them. Take it away.
Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Vermillion. I'm joined with Blue Metal here, a good friend of mine.
Hello, hello.
Alright, guys, so we're gonna get into it. We're playing in Japanese because that's won the bid war. And before we start anything, Blue, could you explain what the VC3 mod is before we get into it?
So the VC3 mod, there's random drops that can happen. They can get throughout the game, and if you want a run to be consistent and as fast as it can possibly be, we want those drops all the time. So we'll be using a mod that gives us those drops guaranteed.
Alright, perfect. Alright, so we're gonna start the run. I'm gonna set the timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. Do it.
All right, how you feeling about this run, man?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. always excited to play this game, you know what I mean?
Especially in Japanese now?
Yeah, I was talking about it. So, fun fact about the speedrun is it's actually one of the only speedruns I've ever learned that Japanese is slower than English.
That's a pretty rare occurrence in speedrunning, actually.
Yeah. Very interesting. When was the last time you saw a Japanese run, Blue? A while.
So Japanese, there's going to be a movement tech we're going to use later, and you're going to hear 2B's voice a lot during said movement tech, and in Japanese, it's, you'll hear it, man.
Yeah.
I've heard the Japanese version so rarely that this sounds super foreign to me.
Yes, I know, it's just like so different. But it makes the prologue, you know, a little more interesting because we've experienced the prologue so many times. So we get a little bit of a
it's like a
ride.
new experience.
Yeah, the game starts off with a shmup auto scroller section kinda, so we have to just like go through it. And every single time you want to redo a run or restart, you have to go through this. Drives a little people insane sometimes.
Kind of an understatement. Depending on the amount of grinding you do. But yeah, this game really loves its shmups. There's a number of these. It's all about memorizing the enemy patterns and making sure you don't get hit too much and just shooting and taking down all the enemies so it's fun.
Yeah, this section is just a lot of just knowing like where the enemies are gonna spawn from, making sure you kill them. Some of them you kill off screen, so you want to make sure that you can end it faster, essentially.
As you grind the speedrun in the intro, you'll get these memorized. It's one of those sections where it's like your attempts will be your practice.
So the reason why I'm taking so much damage here is just to like make sure that my menus are better, because I want to use all my medium recoveries and my large recoveries, because you don't want to have them in your inventory, you don't care about them that much.
Yeah, the main reason why we want to improve our menus by wasting items is because there's a few fights where we're going to be using attack buffs, and we can menu to them faster by getting rid of our heals. All it does is just saves a few inputs, but it's something you can do for free. just about done with the first shmup section here. Just about. Then we're gonna be finally on foot.
Thank God.
Nice, didn't let him get away.
敵反応多数確認
見ればわかるよ
Hey, look, it's that character from that one fighting game. I heard she's pretty cool. So yeah, we'll be using a really an attack we're gonna be using a lot has a very interesting property that we can exploit. Where if you just do a dash followed by a heavy attack during your dash with the small sword on your heavy slot, she kind of throws out the sword and it spins and it does a lot of damage, like way more than it deserves to.
It's like not even close to the regular damage you'd be doing in like a regular playthrough of this game.
Yeah, like you can do the same attack by just doing a standing heavy attack, but if you do the dash first, for some reason it does like 5 times the amount of damage. It's weird, but we're gonna be using that attack most of the time throughout the whole run. We're here on this first boss, and the first thing we're gonna do is use our attack buff, and that multiplies the damage even further. So we're just doing absolutely crazy nutty damage. You can see that boss's health bar just melting.
ホットプログラムのダウンロード終了
Yeah, it just melts it so fast.
Yeah, this boss is like a semi-auto scroller where you're just waiting for dialogue. Like you do half its health roughly, and then you have to just wait out for dialogue, and then just make sure the health bar is empty by the time that dialogue's over. And here's some interesting movement where we're using jumps and attacks to give us a lot of extra height, so we can do some interesting skips.
何
It's like this first one here, we just jump right up onto the crane instead of going all the way around the area.
了解
ゲートの封鎖をかけ
扉
A bunch
に
of
入
enemies
る
are dropping down here in this silo section, and these little guys, they're known as the Stubbies, and they're very obnoxious to fight against. Like, they'll just randomly dash backwards and have iframes during it. It's so annoying.
They're really,
Everyone
really,
hates the
really
Stubbies.
annoying.
And that's just one reason why everyone hates the Stubbies.
Prologue is definitely a very annoying section of the run that like a lot of people don't like playing. I mean, most people don't like running the beginning of the run anyways, but it's this section, it just like is kind of like a reason why I don't like them much. Very annoying.
I'm Prologue's biggest hater. No one can match my hate for it. But anyway, so just kill all the enemies in this silo, and then we're coming up on a very tricky jump. You gotta really space out your attacks very precisely.
Oh no! Sucks.
Oh,
We gotta go back.
I feel like you could have saved that.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna save it too, but it's fine. It's fine. We have to go back a little bit, but it's fine. Usually you're not supposed to get over that bridge, but with a series
Yeah.
of like different moves and stuff like that, we're able to get past it.
Yeah, so clearly what we're trying to do is get on top of that raised bridge and then jump across over to the other one.
嬉しいです
But this is a notoriously
僕たち
difficult
スキャナ
trick,
ータイプ
especially
は
for new runners.
単独での現地の事前調査が主
There
で
we
す
go.
だから誰かと一緒に行動できるって楽しいんです
感情を持つことが
Also,
禁止
walls
さ
don't
れてい
exist
る
in this game sometimes. We just go to here.
それと
Oh yeah, so here's our first out of bounds that we just did. We're going to be going out of bounds plenty of times. You know what, here's a fun meme. Let's count how many times we got out of bounds throughout this run.
トゥービー
So that's the first one, right? And then we'll keep counting.
敵をかけ近接攻撃を推奨
So did you skate got laser? Oh, you did. Nice.
Yeah, that laser's really
Yeah,
weird.
there's
to
more
get to.
waves than enemies. Alright.
一通り工場を探索したけど目標らしき
Now we're
兵
coming
器は
up
発見で
onto
きず
もしかしたら
our
別の
favorite
場所
boy
に移動しちゃったかもしれませんね
This is a very auto-scrollery boss with some RNG involved that can cost you like over 20 seconds depending on your luck.
If you're very unlucky, yeah, you can lose like 20 seconds. Like it's like it should never happen that much, but like sometimes you get some days where you just keep getting minus 20,
移動してみましょうか
and it feels horrible.
Yeah. There's about 7 attacks he has, and at one moment after a cutscene skip, he's going to use one of those 7 attacks, and 2 of them will waste 20 plus seconds. So you have about a 2 in 7 chance of losing that much time. That's very fun. But before that, we have to deal with the double, whatever these things are called. It's another version of the first boss, but 2 of them. But you really only have to take down 1. We have to do half its health, it's no problem.
Alright, here we go. We got RNG. We gotta pray that we just don't get some bad luck here.
There's an interesting mechanic with this boss involving the RNG we were just talking about. So during this first section, he's just going to be using lots of attacks, and it's not until the next cutscene skip where it finally matters. And the interesting thing is that he can't use the same attack twice in a row. So if we want to reduce the chances of getting one of the punch attacks that wastes a lot of our time, we want him to use one of them before the cutscene gets skipped, and then that'll reduce it down from 2 out of 7 to 1 out of 7. So we're just praying that he does one of the 2 punch attacks during this first phase, and we hope we don't get the other.
Oh no.
We really want to see these ranged attacks for the next phase, but right now we kind of want one of those long attacks, so we can kind of get rid of it.
Alright, we have one more chance here. We want to see him punch. Ah, there we go. Here we go.
Okay, so now we're down to 1 out of 7. Are you ready?
Just pray we don't get the other one.
状況は
これが目
Okay,
標の
thank
超
God.
大型兵器
So we
Alright.
managed to avoid bad RNG.
援護します
Yeah, we want to see those ranged attacks. Those are the short ones. Are you gonna hang out on one of the pipes? Personally, I'm a no pipe person. I prefer to hang out in the middle.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety of ways people do this. Some people are a right pipe person, you're a left pipe person, or you're a no pipe person, you know?
I'm a radical centrist right in the middle.
There should be like a race between like the 3 factions, you know? Which pipe do you pick, or no pipe?
No pipe game, rise up.
But yeah, we're just completely safe here. We're just gonna relax, wait for this. This is an auto-scroller boss fight.
Yeah, you just
We can see 9S up
deal
here, though.
damage
He's
to him
chilling.
throughout this whole thing. It's not a big deal. As long as you don't do too little, but I
ハッ
think
キン
we'll
グ
be
開始
alright.
します
So during this phase, we're just going to be climbing up his body, and then we're going to be fighting a set of enemies. After we go up this ladder. Yeah, that ladder. And that's the other reason why we hate stubbies.
イエスを助けないと
They have that whirly arm attack where it's dodge triggering the hitbox, whatever is obnoxiously huge. So I'm trying to have a strong attack that involves a dodge input. If you do a dodge input next to an enemy's attack, you're doing a dodge instead of an actual. It's so annoying.
It's really obnoxious when it comes to find those enemies, and it's like funny because like those enemies like they seem so weak, but like they're the big like time bosses for like combat sometimes when you're just constantly dodging when you don't want to dodge.
Yeah, they're not even dangerous. They just waste your time if you're unlucky.
言葉を喋ってる
Here's the last phase of Angles. Well, second to last phase. We're just trying to damage him throughout these dialogues, because this entire phase is reliant on the dialogue, and when it's all over, then we proceed to the final phase. And the other thing is that we also want him to not be doing an attack when the final dialogue is spoken, so it kind of waits for both things to be done, right? So once people are done talking, he has to be idle. So you want them to be like stopping at the same time. And it depends on what attack he is.
ポストを使って制御を取れるはず
Again?
いいから黙って
Nice.
Barely missed it.
Oh, I thought you had a thing.
That's right. Yeah, just a little bit
So
of
when you
time.
spam the shortcuts like that, it lets dialogue kind of keep going while you keep freezing the enemy's attack, so you can try to sync them up as best you can. But I think we barely missed it.
上腕部のコントロール奪取完了弱点部分をマークしました
了解制御システムを奪う
了解敵サブユニット侵入挙動テーブル変更終了
The last phase here, when we taking control of his arm, we're using an attack buff, and 2 or 3 shot him.
完了
Alright, 2 shot. And that's the prologue. A lot of waiting, a lot of auto-scrolling, and shooting, and noxious big robots.
A lot of waiting for stuff to happen because you can't really do much. And now we're getting to the meat of the game once we get into the actual planet. But we have some more tutorial stuff a little bit. Such a great transition from like all that stuff we did in prologue to this, you know, where we're just kind of like relax a little bit. We gotta set up our settings.
Oh yeah, everyone's favorite menu boss. You gotta do some mandatory tutorial menus, which are very easy to screw up and waste more time. So we're trying to also go through 9S's dialogue boxes.
これで問題
This is the hardest boss in the entire game. Some people say sometimes.
OK セッ
You can accidentally just say no to the things you want to say yes to, and
おはようございます
be.
Yeah, because you want to mash through text boxes, and one of your mashing buttons is confirm, and it's like, oh, you want to confirm, and it's highlighted on no. It's like, come on, man, what the heck?
9S
これ
なけわ
おトゥ
These SD noise, man.
ほら
そ了
地上ってことは飛行ユニットで移
I
動
heard
で
it's
す
like
ね
shmups,
格納庫
so
に
we're
行き
gonna
ましょ
do
う
another
飛
shmup
行ユ
section.
ニッ
There's
トの
actually
運用コスト
a
は
few
高いか
shmup
ら
sections that are
あん
mandatory
ま
in
り
this
使わ
run.
せてもらえないんですよね
Another one.
もっと安い機体を生産すればいいのにな
Thankfully, this one's not as long as the prologue and the last one of the run.
Yeah, it's quite short.
Yeah.
でもどうして 2B のような戦闘モデルが調査を担当するんでしょうか現地調査なら僕たちスキャナーモデルだけで十分なのに
命令に文句を言わない
はーい
2B さん今回から新装備が搭載されています使用方法を表示しますので確認してください了解
I remember a classic strat for this ring wave of enemies. It had a very dumb name, and you would just kind of spam your right stick hoping you hit all the enemies.
A really funny name. I don't even know like how to pronounce it.
You're not meant to pronounce it. You're meant to just wiggle your tongue in your mouth and say things.
ワン 降下地点を設定しました。レジスタンスのキャンプより
That's
ちょっと
okay, we
離
have
れ
a
た
better
場所なん
strat now
で
where
す
you
が、
just
敵
set
へ
up
の
in
情
one
報漏
spot,
洩を防止
press
す
the
るた
heavy
めなので
attack, and they all
我
die.
慢してください。了解。頑張ってくださいね。
Alright, the game can finally start once we got past prologue, tutorials, and the second the home run.
And we're back on foot, and we don't have to see any shmups for a hot minute. They are cool sections, but they're mostly auto-scrollers.
Yeah,
目標地点
unfortunately.
を確認
They're cool in the, when you're playing casually and stuff, but it's like when you're doing speedrun, it's like
目標地
a
点
lot of
への移動
memorization of just like where things are.
Yeah, once the spectacle wears off, it goes from cool to just eh.
情報によるとこの付近の機械生命体は襲ってくる様子はないみたいですね。
There's a bunch of games with really cool auto-scroller sections that just end up being
ただぼーっと
annoying
して
for
る
the
だけ
speedrun.
一体何をしてるんでしょう。
So this is the movement tech we're going to be using for a little bit, where you do dashing followed by a punch. Punch is pretty quick and you can cancel it with another dash. In the prologue we were just doing dash chaining, and it's because the weapons we had on us at the time, they're level 1, so like they don't really help you go any faster, so the punch is really good, because after the prologue, we only have our one weapon instead of both. And we got some mandatory side quests, because if side quests are mandatory, they're no longer side quests, they're just quests.
Yep. They're basically main
こ
quests,
こ
but
は植
they're
物の
essentially
収
side
穫が
quests that
か
we
なり
need to do
進んでい
in
ま
order
す
to
が、当時はかな
just
り
like
大
show
きな
like
都
some
市
of
だ
the
った
stuff
んで
that's
しょうね。
that's possible in this game, like upgrading weapons, stuff
Yeah.
オ
like
ペ
that.
レーター6O より 2B さんへ。
Because we're going to be upgrading our main sword a couple of times. One is going to be part of the side quest here, and another one's going to be from the RNG drops that we have
問題なし。
Mod to help us out with.
それは作戦に関係する情報？いえいえ、そうではなくて、天気がいいと
Sure is fun
気
dodging
分
enemies
が
trying
いい
to
のか
grab
な
items.
なんて。
これで全部かな。武器屋さんに見てもらいましょう。
And then we gotta kill a few mandatory enemies to
か
get
な
the
り
rest
植
of the
物の
drops for
侵
the
食
side
が
quests.
進んでるな。サイズもかなり大きい。
情報人類退避後植物の巨大化現象を確認。
でっかいイノシシとかいたりして。
An interesting thing here is that of the 4 stubbies in the area, 2 of them have the side quest items we're looking for. And if you just kind of get within their vicinity and just shoot, they just aggro you, so you know which ones you need to kill right off the bat.
Oops. I got baited.
Oh, was that like an extra drop that wasn't a quest
Yeah, it
drop?
was. Yeah, it was.
よし。
It happens
こ
on
れで道
occasion.
具屋さんに頼まれたものは全て集まりましたね。雑用って大変ですね。
地上のレジスタンスは夜ハブ
It's
隊にと
happened
っ
a
ても
small
大事
number
な
of
情
times, but I
報。
still remember how, like, every time that would happen to me, I go over there to the NPC and I'm like, why is the quest not finishing?
Yep. I think we've all experienced that.
I didn't pick up the right thing.
The big tell is the 9S dialogue he always talks about after that once you finish the quest.
Yeah. So our sword is now level 2, and this particular weapon, whenever you upgrade it, the animation speed also goes faster, and it's pretty much the same reason why the punch was fast up to this point. It's because of animation speed. So now that the sword is faster, we can actually use it in place of the punch in between dashes, and it's actually pretty nice, pretty fast. I think it looks cool, to be honest.
オペレーターよりポット04にへ。座標データ確認。目標地
Well,
点
that's another annoying thing with running this game is there will be like a light auto aim cursor thing placed on enemies on screen, and if you just use an attack, your attack will get pulled at enemies. So we're going to be doing a lot of camera manipulation to make sure enemies are not on the screen.
Yeah, the auto aim in this game kind of messes you up. That's why it's very hard. Probably has better movement in general, does it not?
Yeah. So now we're on our way to the desert, so we're going to be doing a lot of our What's it? Oh yeah, dash swinging. That's what it was called again. I'm sorry, I'm rusty and washed. But coming up to a shopping trip here, we're gonna be buying a few items such as heals, attack buffs, and a very important chip called resilience. And what resilience does is, if our HP is at a high enough threshold, then when we get hit by an enemy attack, we don't get stunned. So we can just face tank attacks and just keep attacking them ourselves.
No, that's not what I want
Oh
to
yeah,
do.
and the animal bait.
Yeah. Almost bought 39 animal baits in accident.
Listen, man, sometimes you just want to feed a moose a lot. Oh yeah, we're out of bounds again, so that's number 2.
Yeah, walls just don't exist in this game, honestly. We can go through a lot of walls in general.
Walls are just kind of suggestions.
Yeah.
You can go out of bounds in almost every room in the game. Probably actually every room in the game. I could be wrong, I don't know, but a lot of attacks in this game move you fast enough to where you can just clip through walls at the right spots.
Oh, that is not what you want to do. Sometimes that happens.
That clip out's kind of tricky. There's out of bounds number 3.
And now we're in the desert, which has really weird movement. Like a lot of people have a lot of trouble with it. I have a little trouble with it. It's very so different than any part of the run.
Yeah, because you got these slides, and they move you really fast, and it's all about trying to find the right spots and the right angles that give you the most speed and the most distance off of those slides. And we're going over here to the left first instead of to the right, because we're going to get a second pod. The little thing floating next to us, that's our pod. We have pod A, and we picked up pod C. So now we have 2 of them. This lets us double charge our laser attacks. So we can use 2 at once, or we can laser once, switch to the other one, then laser again, stuff like that. There's a lot of benefit to having 2 pods. And having 2 pods also helps out for the shmup sections, because that means we get to use our missiles twice too. Wait, we want to shoot one of these flying guys. We need to kill at least one of them. There you go. Because those enemies, they drop what's called taunt chips. And it's a really rare drop, and this mod is going to allow us to get those for free every time, as long as we kill at least one like we're intended to. Because taunting in this game, it's when you spam your flashlight on an enemy, and they start glowing red. And during that time where they're glowing red, they take and they deal and they take more damage. And the taunt chip increases that multiplier by quite a lot. So you can kind of see where that goes with the strong attack we use, the attack buffs, and then the enhanced taunt chip. So yeah, we melt enemies and bosses, but because of the taunt, we're going to be potentially taking a lot of damage and possibly dying if we're not careful too. There's out of bounds number 4. So these are all just shortcuts to get around to places where we want to go. Instead of going through all those buildings, we're just kind of cut through the that one building and go through the stand. This movement here can be kind of tricky. So we're going on this direction first to make sure that we hit a mandatory trigger to let the story proceed. And then we're going to go to the side and land on the platform. There you go. Now for a menu where we're going to use a buff, and we're going to put on our taunt chip, and we're going to make sure both weapon sets are the same. So that way we get to use our strong attack, swap weapon sets, and then use the same attack again, and then you can have both swords out at the same time, so you can just constantly. And in this part, you have to kill a number of enemies until we get the cutscene with that one guy spawning. Yeah, there he is. then we have to kill that guy, and then after he's dead, then we start a timer that'll end this section and start the next boss fight. So during this auto-scroller timer, just kill as many enemies as you can, try to get drops, EXP, money, all that stuff. Well, another thing about drops in this game is that you don't necessarily have to pick them up. Like this section, for example, there's probably a lot of drops over the floor, and what happens is when a cutscene happens, it auto-collects all those drops for you. If there's any items on the floor, you get 2 of each. It's like if you got 1 item on the floor, when it loots it through the cutscene, it gives you 2 of them. And this cutscene is where we're going to also get our RNG materials for our next sword upgrade, which the mod is going to give us. And here's this naked man. He's Adam. His name is Adam, and he's kind of rude.
Yeah.
I am not used to hearing him in Japanese, dude. This is weird to me.
Right? Same. Been so long. Okay, that makes.
So you can see that his HP bar just melted right away from the taunt, the buffs, and the strong attack.
Nice. Take that.
Alright, we take those.
Yeah. If I could be a little tricky sometimes if you don't get the hit the correct damage thresholds.
Yeah, there's a lot of bosses in this run that have a lot of just HP thresholds that determine like whether or not you lose time or if the boss fight ends early, and there's a lot of shenanigans going on. It's surprising how many bosses in this particular run that you don't actually kill.
ここまで来たら大丈夫そうですね。
一体あの機械生命体は。
これまでに見たことのないタイプでした。後で司令部に連絡するために通信状況のいいエリアに移動しましょう。
This box click can be a little tricky.
This is a really tricky skip.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta push the box a little bit more, sometimes you might push it too much. We're trying to like dash at the right moment to clip out of bounds, or at least clip through the box.
Yeah. If you don't get it, it's not the biggest problem in the world, it's just really annoying if you don't get it. Okay, we got it. Nice.
There we go. So that's out of bounds number 5.
And, you know, 10 times the charm, you know. It's a good new saying of mine.
Yeah. So the reason why we want to do this out of bounds is because there's a dialogue trigger that pops up, and it doesn't really let you load your save until it's over, and it's really long. And when we used the transporter earlier after shopping, it let us set up that save point as a transport point, and you can kind of just save load straight to it instead of running all the way back. If you were to look at the minimap during that point, there's like a really big but faint circle, and if you're within that range, you can just kind of save to that save point that's really far away, and then just load to it. And then next we're on the way to the amusement park. You're normally supposed to go back to the camp, but you don't have to do that.
以上で通信部終了します。そういえばレジスタンスキャンプでも同じような話を聞いた。
地上からのルートは封鎖されているみたいですね。地下から行けないか調べてみましょう。
Instead of going down into the sewer, we're just gonna try to go right over this fence. Similar to bridge skip, it can be kind of tricky if you don't space out your attacks like really It's really tight.
It's really tricky.
Yeah.
There we go. Barely got over it. It's a little weird to do that.
And then we want to go back over here to this sewer and then drop down far enough just to hit the story trigger, and then we go back up. Or do some movement to get over this story trigger, or this cutscene trigger rather. It's a pretty short trigger. You just gotta jump off of that root from the tree, and then you can go right on over.
これは
なんていうか異様な雰囲気ですね。
Then we're gonna go out of bounds again. This will be number 6. Again, it's just more shortcut stuff. But this one also leads to an interesting thing we can do with the roller coaster coming up. And it's probably one of the scariest tricks in the run.
Yeah.
Not because it can end the run or anything, but because if you mess it up, it loses a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a little tricky too. Very precise. Alright, here we go. Oh, I got it. Ah, damn.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's pretty tough.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
the
So we're gonna
timing
lose
is
about
pretty
a
tight.
minute, maybe 2 minutes, but it's not the worst thing in the world. There's no softbox or anything, but unfortunate.
Yeah. So what we were trying to do was to jump up high enough to get just barely on the coaster, and then do a dash to get off of it, and it'll let the coaster run without us. So during this time where the coaster is moving, we'd be running around trying to get some free extra EXP, and then we'd also go to get the spear item that's nearby in the amusement park. But since we messed it up here, we can just go grab it after the boss fight. Because the spear is going to be our next big thing to get that helps us with movement.
Yeah, we get a little bit of farming at least. There's like
Yeah.
a little bit
Free
of bonus
XP.
here.
So I tend to stand around the back when it comes to getting off the coaster. For some reason, I have a lot of luck there. Getting off the coaster is like needlessly complicated for like no reason.
There we go.
Then we're going to hit some of the mandatory triggers that we skipped on accident from failing the coaster skip. And then that'll let us finish this section, actually continue the run.
あの戦車
There's one more we
放
got
っておいていい
to
んですか？
害がないなら戦うの
Just make sure you don't go too far down the stairs, or else this thing is borked.
That's fine. We just gotta get the spear later. It's not the worst thing in the world, at least.
Yeah. So this boss, we want to damage the first phase a little bit slowly, because if you damage it too early, you'll get like an RNG attack, and sometimes those attacks will take a really long time, but if you just wait, you'll get this attack where she kind of has the blades at the bottom and kind of goes towards you. That one is a lot faster than anything else she could use. Well, there's maybe one attack that's faster if you gamble on it, but you don't want to gamble on it. And these hacking sections, this will be hopefully the only time we see one of those in the run. If we get hit by one of the dead androids in this next section, then we'll go through more of those.
アンドロイドの死体を再利用して攻撃してきてる。
いやこれは
Gonna make sure we destroy all of these, and then we can start the next phase.
すぐに終わらせる
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, those shockwaves that come out, they're really unpredictable. You really don't know when you're gonna get hit by one.
So fast. It's really hard to move.
Have you seen the dead android section on hard or very hard? There's just shockwaves everywhere, dude. It's nuts. So here's the next phase of the boss. It's as long as you just use your buffs and stuff, you're just pretty much waiting out the boss's animations because we deal damage to it so fast. And we blew ourselves up right there on purpose because we want to have 1 HP for a moment in a little bit.
アンドロイドたちを助けないと
Range attack up +3. That's
Yeah, it's possible.
I think that's a good chip as long as its capacity is not super high. When you
Yeah.
pick up chips in this game, their capacity that they take up is random within a
生命
range.
体に意識なんか
And a +3 chip with how little space we have
ないやつ
in vanilla, it can take up a lot and be sometimes unusable.
敵
Alright, so we need to take a little bit of a detour that we normally wouldn't, but unfortunately some stuff happened on the roller coaster. Now we need to grab the spear. It's going to be in a little area to the left here. Just a little bit of shortcut.
Out of bounds number 7.
や
And the spear is a very good weapon, purely for movement purposes. It's not going to be used for combat whatsoever,
Yep.
but for movement, you can do a lot of stuff with it.
It's
It makes a
mainly
lot
just-
of out of bounds, clip outs very easy, and we're going to be doing what's called spear dashing. And that movement is very fast, but very technical to do. And since we're on Japanese, it's going to sound significantly worse.
Yep, it's gonna sound really weird, but we're gonna hit the whole entire run. This is the fastest way to travel in this game, so we're gonna hear this sound the whole entire time.
I promise you that it sounds way more bearable in English. Like, trust. So, the way this works is that the self-destruct button does a lot of things, and one of those things is animation canceling. And what you do is you have the spear on your light slot and the small sword on your heavy slot. And what you do is you press light attack and then self-destruct into a heavy attack. And then she'll do that forward spear spinning attack. And you just keep looping self-destruct heavy over and over again, and it moves very fast. And the attack animation speed is reliant on your small sword's upgrade and not the spear. So when we upgrade our sword again, it'll move this attack even faster.
どうして機械生命体やそ
It's
れを
pretty
作る
nice outside of
バン
how
バ
it
ン直接
sounds,
攻撃
and
しない
the inputs to do it are
宇宙
kind of
に
annoying.
生きてるはず
Yeah, it's very annoying because it's funny because the initial original input for self-destruct is L3 R3, and then that is just not happening if you want to play this game like this.
Oh yeah, no, anyone that runs this game, they are going to remap their controls, and you are not going to do good spear dashing on the stick clicks. We're setting up a necessary save. But we talked to Pascal here, and then we're going to head back to the camp. And the way to get back to the camp faster than spear dashing is to ride an animal, and that's why we have the bait. Will we get a boar or a moose?
その箱を動かせば廃墟都市に出られますね。
ペレーター 6O より 2B さんへ定期連その時間こ
Nice.
ちら
We got a
TB
boar.
どうした実は
Alright, boar, nice.
ちょっと好きだった先輩を食事に誘ったら
So when you have a boar, you can go even faster if you have it start sprinting and then you just spam
どうやっ
jump.
て生きていけばいいですか 2B さ
For some reason, this is faster.
んそんなこと聞かれても
It's great.
もうバンカーにいられないで
You
す
just like so crying, and then you just see this
それは
to
困
be
る
riding a board jumping over and over again. It's really funny, honestly. Like in hindsight,
2B さん
Is this the fastest form of movement in the
私を
game?
必要として
I
くれ
think
る
it
ん
might
です
be. And
I
we
feel like
use
it
it
has
this
to
one
be,
time.
right?
ベルにはオペレーターのサポートが
We just
必要
park
不
our
可欠
boar out here because we're going to use them again.
だから 2B さん
But before that, we interact with that door over there to get dialogue to stop. And then mandatory stuff here. We're going to come back out and visit our boar again.
いかがでしょうか
勝手に通信してきた。
He's hopping.
私たち
Nice.
口だけならいくらでも言える。
What happened, dude? You died.
Oh yeah, I died. My bad. I wanted to get on the boar, and I accidentally died, so now I have to go all the way back to Pascal's village. Oh wait, we're trying to go to Pascal's village.
Yeah, so it's a death warp.
It's we don't really need the taunt chip because we have 2 already, so
い
it's
か
not
が
that
で
bad.
しょうか
Oh yeah, it's true. We don't have to go back to our body to get our taunt chip back, because like I mentioned before, when a cutscene loots items for you, it gives you 2 of them. So we have 2 taunt chips. We don't have to go grab another one, because we have 2.
Perfect.
バンカーより緊急連絡 2B さ
But
ん
we'll do equips and all that stuff in a little
敵大型兵器
while.
のスクエアを確認しました他にも機械生命体反応が多数あります全夜ハ部隊
I'm assuming that
は
weapon,
迎撃に
that
急
range
行して
attack
くだ
up
さい
is actually good.
2B。やっぱりこいつ
Yeah,
は
as long as you get range attack or weapon attack, you know, you're in good shape.
Yeah, as long as you're able to actually equip it, you know. Some runs you see it and you're like, oh my god, this could actually happen, and you can't. It's like, oh, that sucks.
向かいましょう。
分かった
Yeah, you don't want to see a defense chip or a attack chip that you want that has super high capacity.
But yeah, just being comfortable with the sound, guys. We're gonna hear it for the rest of the run. Like, not even joking,
Yeah.
literally for the rest of the run.
危ないですね。どこか
Yeah,
別
so
の
like
ルートを探した方がいい気がし
self-destruct,
ます
it's a it was often described as like a Swiss Army knife. It does a lot of things. Like
Oh my god.
besides just blowing yourself up, right? It's wow, you actually got hit there. That's pretty rare to see.
I cannot believe it just happened. That's never happened before.
危険ですが。あの大型
So like
兵器の
it's
足元を通らなくて
self-destruct does
たどり着けそうにありません
animation canceling, which can be used to speed things up or do funny movements like this. Or when you're doing like a big old plunge down a long direction that's downward. Usually when your plunge attack stops, you kind of just drop straight down. But towards the end of it, you can kind of hold SD for a while and it'll maintain a lot of your momentum, still going more forward. So self-destruct does a lot of things, and that's why you want to map it to anything that's one button. It's possible to jump through that wall before this part starts, but it's pretty tricky and it's kind of annoying. But if you don't do that, then you can just kind of jump over the invisible wall anyway, so it's not a big deal.
低空飛行で接近してく
And
だ
I'm
さい
not going to count that as an out of bounds. You're going over an invisible wall that's to an area that's still in bounds.
Yeah, I used to call this part my demon because I would always never be able to see where I'm going. I would fall off, and if you fall off here, then you soft walk, so you have to go back to Pascal's village.
Yeah, if you fall off that bridge, you gotta save and reload. And this angle is you just go up to him, use your missile pod, and he's dead. Easy peasy.
That is the hardest boss fight in the entire game. We use double pod fire. I mean, pod program. That is it.
And now we're gonna be doing probably one of the most elaborate tricks in the whole run. Do you have a keyboard near you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. because we're not going to be doing this with a controller.
Now, if it was only
Well, mostly with a controller.
yeah, 99.95% of the speedruns on the controller. But for this one part, we need the keyboard. We're gonna abuse the fact that the keyboard is an option in this game.
Yeah. And fun fact, you can use a keyboard on console too if you just have a simple USB keyboard. I've done it on PS4.
2B って大雑把なところがあるんですね。
So we went down far enough to hit the mandatory trigger. And then we're going to be going around this way. Instead of down to that giant hole, we're going to be visiting an NPC in the amusement park. And the goal is to talk to that NPC and hold on to its dialogue box while we move around and try to get to the next boss arena with the text box still open. And doing that can be really tricky.
Oh, so close. The hard about this whole thing is barely tapping self-destruct. There we go, barely.
Yeah, for movement tricks like this, you want to just tap SD for as little time as possible. So whenever you use it in the air, you kind of sink down.
There's no way. Okay.
Oh no, you missed.
It's fine, it's fine. We're gonna just have to do the old try, it's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Alright, so we're not going to be able to do the trick then, but we're still going to go out of bounds and head to the boss arena anyway.
Yeah.
So what we were trying to do was to kill that NPC at the same time as we talk to it, so it leaves the dialogue box open.
Yeah. And we forced this whole. Now we have to do a whole entire fight that we weren't meant to do.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Out of bounds number 8.
Yeah. No softbox or anything, thankfully, but it's just you know, the part.
Yeah.
Want to show off a little bit, but it's fine.
So this boss fight is kind of an auto-scroller.
Yeah,
and,
extremely awesome.
if we did that trick correctly, we would leave the text box open during the cutscene and not skip it. And then when the cutscene ends, the dialogue box cancels out. The boss's dialogue just ends the fight immediately. But since that didn't work out, what we're going to do instead is fight Eve here, kill him once for the XP, and then we're going to try to get out of bounds again for some extra free drops.
今度絶滅するのは君たちアンドロイドか機械生命体は自己進化を繰り返して強化されていく兵器ネットワークの上に芽生えた知性創造主にそれを領する大して時間は必要としなく
We're doing our attack. By the way, the attack, I realize I haven't said its name the whole time. The community calls it damage glitch. Whether or not it's an actual glitch is kind of ambiguous, but we just damage glitch, swap weapon sets to the damage glitch inputs again, so we have 2 swords flying out and spinning on the boss doing a lot of damage. We call that double damage glitch.
Got through.
Right over the wall. Very good.
Nice.
That allows number 9.
その行動原理は目を見張る不可解さ私たちは
And while this fight goes on, we're going to try to go through the entrance door, so we can try to get some more drops, some more free XP if possible. Yeah, you gotta do another high jump.
Yeah, we're trying to do
Just
it.
trying to lock your character in that circular arena. It's very awkward.
There we go. Okay, I got
そ
it.
の秘密の全てを暴く
Alright, we got
Hear me out, it's Japanese version. Do we have enough time to reach that box?
他にはない
そんなことやらせるわけないだろ 2B
this.
こんな奴らに惑わされちゃダメだ
Alright, so that box has the last materials that we need to upgrade our sword for
決裂という
more speed, more damage.
滅ぼす
So while we wait for the fight to end, we just kill some enemies here for some free XP. And to get them out of the way on the way out.
宇宙人
Alright, thanks. That's XP.
エイリン
またこの道を戻るんですかめんどくさいですね
文句言わない 9S
ああ
2B さん、こちらオペレーターの 6O です。廃墟都市の転送装置の配備と稼働を確認しました。他のポイ イトも準備中です。
ようやく転送装置が使えるんですね。
転送装置。
ええ。
And you'll often see us like stopping spear dashing when there's enemies nearby and then just dash. Because spear dashing is an attack, so whenever an enemy is nearby, it's gonna pull us to them. So we have to stop spear dashing and dash around them until they're off screen. Then we can go back to spear dashing again.
Yeah, it's you don't want to hit the. It keeps targeting the enemies, so it's like really annoying to do spear dashing into any enemies like that.
Yeah. So this time when leaving the bunker, we don't have to do another shmup. We can just use the save point and teleport.
気が向いたらね。
Alright, and this is where the VC3 mod is fully in effect. We have all the materials to finally get Virtuous Contract 3, which is really important for this run. We want our damage to be as high as possible.
Yep, greater damage, faster speed.
Yeah, just everything.
This is really nice, but the drops are fairly rare, so grinding runs on vanilla without the mod can be pretty annoying. We're doing some mandatory shopping and upgrading. The shopping, we're going to be selling a bunch of chips that we don't need to free up space, some extra items that we picked up that are worth a lot of money, and we're going to be buying a bunch of heals and a bunch of buffs, and then we're going to upgrade the sword. And make sure you don't forget to equip stuff.
Yeah, that's happened to me before, right? I forget to just equip my stuff, and I'm like, oh wait, I might have doing damage.
Right.
And there we go, we got Virtuous Contract 3.
And I think I saw that your range chip is 11, which I think is equipable.
Alright, we'll see, we'll go with, we always need Resilience and Taunt. And I think that's enough, yep, exactly enough, perfect.
Nice. So that range attack up chip, it lets our pod damage do a lot more damage since the chip is +3. So that movement is really tricky. We're trying to jump over the trigger zone that has this little cutscene happen, and the trigger zone for it is obnoxiously big. And there is an out of bounds trick for it, and I've seen it a handful of times. I don't know how to do it because it's one of those new Zoomer things. I think it's named after a U.S. president for some god-awful reason. I don't know, but
why is it?
Anyway, you don't have to do it. It's weird.
Lou always tells me that the names for these skips in this game are just so bad sometimes, and that's kind of like a meme in the community. Is like these skips just have like really bad names sometimes.
They'll name them after people or after curse words, or name them after places you're skipping to rather than what you're skipping. You know, it's speedrunner things.
It's just so random, but it's like it's cool to see sometimes. It's really funny.
These 4 mandatory dudes. One of them likes to run away. There's something weird about the one that runs away. I don't know what his deal is. He has a funny looking head. I don't know.
Yeah, we won't see him though. He's in. I don't even think in the screen we see a single frame of him.
Now we're here in the forest. The movement here is really tricky because like the environment's all bumpy. It's not smooth and straight, so it's possible to have our movement get interrupted constantly just to adjust for the this bumpy terrain.
油断しないでください。それはこっちのセリフ。気をつけて、ナイエス。はい。
Yeah, the movement here is really tricky.
どうやって
honestly.
行けばいいんでしょうね
So
Yeah, I'd
bumpy.
argue it's probably the hardest place in the game to do efficient movement at.
Yeah, I can believe it. It's just very weird compared to like other movement in this game.
This has some cool jumps though, like plunging over that bridge and then doing a long jump across the large gap over here.
So close.
Oh. That slope really likes to pull you down. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's really weird. This jump and everything.
So there was an easier and slower version of this trick a long time ago. It was called Mario Kart. It's because we do a intentional drown warp to put us up here. But it was renamed to Mario Kart, or not Mario, Rainbow Road, that was it. Because it's a more advanced version that takes us straight across without a drown warp. I think that's an interesting naming convention for it. Something that's not cringe. So out of bounds number 10, we're just gonna skip the castle and just kind of go up the windows.
They skipped like every part of this game. It's really funny to see.
Yeah.
All the major sections, it's like, yeah, we don't care about that kind of stuff.
Then we go back over to the save point to open it, and then touch the mandatory trigger, and then we come over here. And there's a large zone that makes you walk for quite a while, so we're going to try to get as much free movement into it as possible. And then we fight A2. She is very annoying.
Yeah.
She can do this dash attack across the screen that wastes a lot of your time if you're unlucky, and she loves to do it a lot.
A lot of like, sometimes you can't do anything to help to like, actually hit her.
行くよ
Yeah. He does it immediately, of course.
I think you don't have to do her whole entire health part, it's just like a little bit.
Yeah, just most of it. Like I was saying earlier, there's a number of boss fights where you don't even kill the boss. You just do some amount of damage and then the fight's over.
Her hitbox is just really weird sometimes. She doesn't really take the DGs as much as regular enemies.
Yeah. We're gonna do a high jump over a mandatory trigger here. Normally it tries to turn you around, because you're supposed to jump out the window and follow A2, but if you go far enough past it, it stops trying to turn you around. And we can use the transporter to get to where we have to go faster.
Yep. You actually lose a lot. You would lose a lot of time if you actually would jump out the window and everything. There's so much stuff you have to do compared to just walking
it's
to
a
the
big
right.
old detour.
Alright, so now we're going back to Pascal's village. We have a little bit of, talking to people a little bit, and then we get to probably the most hated section of the run, I would say.
Yeah, it's we're coming up on a really long auto scroller. It's just one of those things where it's like, if you don't run the game a ton, you'll probably hate this part a lot because it's a really long auto
各地を
scroller.
警戒しつつ
But if you run the game a lot, you'll probably hate the intro auto scroller a lot more because you see that way more.
補給が必要だから
Like, it's a break from all
least that's how it
the
is with me.
chaos.
There's another game I run that has a long auto scroller in the middle of it, and just like with this game, I don't find it to be that bad because as long as we're past the intro, I can care less about how long the auto scroller is. It's like
Yeah,
a nice time to chill out and breathe.
As long as you're not in the prologue, you're just happy, It's like the run's actually continuing.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then you'll know your pace before this auto scroller anyways as well.
聞いたの
So like you'll be like, okay, well I can still
許可
get a good run
機
if I
械
just
生命
keep
体
playing.
にアクセスするの
ありがとう 2B
私たちの敵は機械生命体だからそれを忘れないで
Alright, we have a really interesting trick here. We're just gonna go here and we're out of bounds.
Yeah, you just jump in that one spot and then, yeah, you're out. That was number 11.
It's really funny. That's it.
Yep. Then we're going to try to touch a mandatory cutscene trigger from out of bounds, if
Oh,
possible.
I messed it up already. It's very close.
We almost had it.
There we go. Be a little higher.
And the important thing is to make sure you don't land on those hills back in bounds, or else you're going to have a real rough time.
Yeah, you still want to land on the ground. That's the only thing you really care about.
Yeah.
I mean, just camera angle's a little weird.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, it's like a little bit above like where that building was at, like the bottom of it.
Yeah, it's slightly above where you were at, because you want to float under the building to make sure you can actually go through it.
Oh, whoop. Alright. I got it, but did not get it.
And then we're going in this direction so we can make sure we
さっさと倒してお
reach
風
the
呂に
next
入り
area
ま
with
し
a
ょう
drown warp.
トゥビ
アンドロイドは風呂に入る必要はない。定期的な部品洗浄メンテナンスさえあれば
We
問
just
題ない。
gotta kill these guys here,
気分ですよ
and then we start the next auto scroller.
Oh, they got the move we were talking about earlier, the flailing arms.
Yeah, whirling arms, our favorite.
これで
Yeah.
この辺りの機械生命体は
We run backward for another mandatory trigger. And here we go.
So this part right now, in my opinion, is a little loud. So if audio wants to lower the volume, it's good. But this is basically just a 10-minute auto scroller. So any donations, anything, or any shoutouts you guys want to give, you know, would
Yeah,
be,
we're just
would be
doing
a
a
perfect
shmup
time.
section, killing enemies, then we fight a boss, and then we do another really long auto scroller section with some mini bosses, and that would be it.
Just a bunch of shooting, shmups, and all that, you know. You know, when you play on Nier Automata, you sign up for many different genres of games. You do third person, you know, hack and slash. You also play like a shmup, and then sometimes you just play like a hacking game when you play as 9S.
The hacking game is just another shmup, it's just tiny. I think Yoko Taro really liked his shmups, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a big shmup guy. You can tell from the way he designed this game.
Wonder how many coins he split in the arcade machines.
But yeah, this section, so there's a lot, just a bunch of shooting stuff. You get a lot of EXP because you're just killing a bunch of small enemies. I think about 3 EXP each, if I remember correctly, something like that. Very little.
Was your 9S still on passive? Yeah, I think your 9S is on passive. So, something interesting about 9S is that whenever he kills an enemy, you do not get that EXP. So, you want to steal kills from him as much as you can, but since your 9S is on passive right now, he's not fighting anything. So, you actually get to hog all of it. And funny enough, if your 9S is not on passive and he happens to kill the next boss coming up, yeah, you don't get that boss EXP.
Okay.
I've had him rob me of a whole level.
That's
a
actually
handful of
wild.
times.
I can't believe it. Yeah, because he KS'd you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
down almost a whole level for the rest of the run, dude.
It's like you're playing like a game and someone just last hits them, you know, you're so angry. That's mine. I worked hard for that. Did everything.
Yeah, like, you know how much it sucks to fight the last boss at like level 17 or 18? It's awful. So this boss, all you do is just use your missile pods and just shoot it, and then use your missile pods again when they're reloaded. Pretty simple boss.
Very simple. He has a cool name though, Goliath Flyer.
It's at least something I don't have trouble trying to figure out how to pronounce.
敵飛行兵器の破壊を確認。 これより周囲の警戒に行こう。
ちょっと待って、まだ大型の敵反応が残ってます。
その敵は今破壊したはずじゃ。
It does really sound weird to listen to the Japanese audio when you put it in English so much.
どこに？
But it's
There's
actually
a
it's a little
handful of
refreshing.
audio cues I use in the run, and being in Japanese would throw me off so hard.
Yeah, I know. it's interesting to listen to. At least it's refreshing to me personally because I like never played Japanese. But yeah, some of the audio cues I would normally use when I would have to I have to use the text instead.
Yeah.
Like we have a thing we're gonna do later
EMP 攻撃で接近を防いでるのか。
that would require
なんとか
certain
別の
audio
方
cue.
法で攻撃しないと。
2B さん、衛星レーザーの直接攻撃場
There's going to be 3 mini boss sections where there's going to be a big yellow core surrounded by 4 small cores. And what we got to do is blow up the 4 small spinning cores, and then we can access the big one. Then we blow that one up with a pod missile program.
マップにマーク
And our range attack chip is going to help us out a lot here, actually.
This is like the perfect time to just like have your controller in one hand, take a drink or like eat some snacks when you're in the run, whatever you feel like. Just sometimes you just don't have to worry about anything. When you get to the actual fights, you actually do, but this kind of part, you just gotta be careful you don't die.
See, I tend to still like not chill that much during this part because I'm trying to really try hard and make sure 9S does not KS me at all.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to KS the heck out of him, honestly.
With the EXP, The levels do matter though at the very end because you really want to make sure you're not too under levels here. So when you fight like the final boss, your SD thresholds are better. When you're using self-destruct on the final boss, and if you're higher level, your self-destruct does more damage, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so we're going to be using self-destruct as an attack later on, and it does a huge amount of damage, but it's based on your level, and I think it's based on your melee attack damage.
Oh yeah,
So
because
when
it's a
you
melee. It's a melee
buff-
attack for some reason.
Yeah,
There's a
So
huge
between your
explosion that counts as a
level
melee
and your
attack.
buffs.
Now I learned.
all that stuff. SD's damage can vary a little bit. And sometimes you get unlucky and it rotates twice, so you can't hit some of the cores.
I was so ready for the audio cue, and then I just realized it wasn't. It wasn't coming. I didn't read the text.
も電磁波防壁があるのか。
Because you kind of just become accustomed to some of the voice lines they say in this game. And you're like, okay, well, I have to do this now. Like, I'm skipping a cutscene now.
夜派部隊。
Right.
北部 12C 防衛本部から派遣された傭兵部隊だ。私は隊長の 4B。ここは我々に任せろ。2B、ここは増援部隊に任せましょう。僕に考えがあります。場所をポイントしました。そこで合流しましょう。
Alright.
ここには
So we're gonna be in the
Cannon
ground.
thing is an example of something where I use the dialogue as an audio
近
cue,
距離からの
but
物理砲弾なら
Japanese, I wouldn't recognize that anymore.
ダメージを与えられるはずです。
了解。
Yeah, this part we're on the ground for like 1 second to shoot this mortar.
僕が照準をアシストします。
Oh, I just realized I don't have the correct audio cue for this one.
この砲弾じゃ
2B、
So
You'll be alright.
敵の内部に直接攻撃をするんです。
yeah, this is one of the ones where I definitely use an audio cue.
そうですよ。
But it's fine. That's not, if you can mash, it's not the worst in the world. Like, I barely miss it actually, because I mashed. Alright.
We're like what, halfway done with the auto scroller now?
あの巨大な機械生命体は過去に廃棄された兵器です。アンドロイド殲滅用として開発されたのですが、制御不能になってしまって、当時は私も機械生命体のネットワークに組み込まれていたから覚えているんですが、上陸した途端に暴走し、敵味方関係なく攻撃を始めたんですが、結局我々も暴走を止めることができなくて深海に投棄されたのですが、再び上陸を試みているようですね。そうか。
Trying not to get KS right now.
ここで怪獣を食い止めておいてくださ
I
い。
Ninus
think
is a
you'll be
dirty
alright on
cheater.
that, because I think Ninus is passive.
He's a cheater. He's taking credit for me.
He flew away. Alright, we don't have to worry about Ninus for a long time now. That's great. That's awesome.
ダメ。きっと 9S には
World
考
is
えられ
better
る。
when there's no more 9S. There's another weird glitch that can happen with 9S where he just kind of like disappears, and if he's on anything that's not passive, just suddenly every enemy on the screen is getting hit and dying because he's somehow everywhere at once doing endless damage. It's weird. And if that happens, yeah, you're the one getting chaos a lot. Thankfully, it's really rare.
Alright, so just a little more of the same. Buffing. Kill these cores. Oh no. It's the RG we get.
No, stop it. Stop rotating.
He spoke into existence. I'm saying. Sometimes that just happens, you know.
Sometimes I do that.
Alright, we're almost done with this section. It actually looks really aesthetically pleasing, honestly. The first time I played it, I was like, wow, this looks beautiful, you know? It's epic.
Wait, no, this part's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Just so you speedrun.
When you speedrun it, you're like, okay, well, I get to chill, I guess. I think it's the fact that it's really long is the big thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the length of doing not a whole lot.
But if shmups are your favorite part of the run, you know, this is the coolest part. Long shmup.
As long as I'm not in the prologue, man.
I just realized I do need the keyboard for the next two parts, actually. I thought we were done with the keyboard. I haven't get to use the keyboard yet, but no, we do have to use the keyboard two more times. The keyboard allows us for some specific, like, really precise movement, which is really important in the coming parts.
Oh, yeah. The reason why we needed the keyboard the first time was because if you try to jump with the controller, it'll advance a text box, but if you jump with the keyboard using spacebar, it does not advance text. But in this instance, we're going to be, we want to be moving true north, which would be, you know, holding W. Whereas if you're trying to move true north on an analog stick, like, you're not. So the keyboard's going to be useful in a couple areas.
Yep. Alright, that's it for the shmup section. Very long, but you know, when you're doing a run, sometimes you get to relax a little bit compared to the rest of the run where you're just constantly tryharding because you have to. The game is really difficult.
Or sometimes, if you're like me, you might just think about the part of the run that just happened, and if you're on really good pace, you're just like, I sure hope the rest of the run does not go down the toilet, man. I'm stressing just thinking about it.
Yeah. You're like, I can't mess anything else up. I'm like, fixing fine. You're just
Pretty
constantly
much.
looking at your timer.
Look at that fat pace. I am so far ahead. I sure hope I don't screw up anything important.
So some little more movement here. We're gonna do another out of bounds to skip a lot of travel. This requires the keyboard and pretty precise setup. I think with the keyboard makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, the setup is really, really precise to get out of bounds here, and as long as you have a consistent visual lineup and you just hold W on the keyboard, you can get out really easily.
Just like that.
So instead of going back to the camp and doing other side questy stuff to look for clues on how to find 9S, we just kind of clip out of bounds, come down here, and we're already here to go find them.
Yep.
So I was out of bounds number 12.
Yeah, that's a
I
lot.
think I may have lost count.
There's just a lot this run, honestly. Alright, Copied City. This is one of my favorite tracks in the game. Love this part of the game.
Yeah, there's another precise out of bounds in here. We're going to be going out of bounds while the next boss dialogue plays out. 'Cause it's pretty much another auto scroller where we can do a little bit of time save stuff near the end of it.
私たち機械生命体は人類に興味がある。愛や家族、戦争や宗教、人類の記録を読み解けば他に例を見ない複雑さに魅了されるばかり。
There we go.
この街もそうした人類への渇望が生み出した場所の
And just like that, we don't care about this guy's
ア
dialogue
ンド
anymore.
ロイドの墓場にはもったいない崇高な場所だ。
He's gonna talk to us, and we're just not even close to him.
私たちは人類の特徴を学び
So his dialogue is how the fight proceeds. Like his HP bar right now doesn't matter. And I believe his dialogue is split up into about 2 or 3 parts. And when we go to the elevator, the pod's going to talk to us and cancel out one of the boss's dialogues. And we're going to wait for the last one to start before we do that.
And we're just like, yeah, I don't care about your dialogue, dude. That's just too long.
Yeah, we just cut it off in place of the short pod dialogue.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And this first phase, we're just going to do some damage to him just to get him to talk again. And then after he's done talking, then we do the second phase.
Yeah, we want him to talk just to get it over with. 'Cause he's hidden behind a lot of dialogue.
Nice.
Alright, just one more phase and he's let me down. Watch him melt.
With all of our buffs and chips, he just gets melted.
Yeah, that's the epic boss fight. Just gone in like really fast, like 5 seconds.
Dude, finally another boss we actually kill in this run. There's not very many of those. Alright, so that was something very important you just did to save a lot of time. You normally get a lot of mandatory dialogues, but if you jump out of the starting zone with a text box up, it cancels out one of those really long dialogues.
Yeah, it's really long. If that did happen, I would have to go all the way to my destination, get a different what's it called, save point.
Yeah. Because you can't access save points when dialogues are running, and we need to access the mailbox. And yeah, if we skip that first dialogue with our text box that we had open, we wouldn't have to wait to go access the mailbox.
We got a couple of donations. Go ahead and read off here. We got a $125 donation by Anonymous. Thank you so much for that. And then we also got a $30 donation from Tara saying, let's go Titus. which we are close to our incentive for the next run, the Dawn Blue Trilogy. We got $50 left for them to play Space Ace. So if you want to donate, please check out our Tiltify here on the MAGFAST. Information is in the About page, or if you're here live, we got the QR code up here to donate to. Thank you guys so much.
I didn't realize how long the dialogue in Japanese is here because I should have, I would have been there already in English. Interesting.
Yeah, usually if you're on English, the dialogue would have finished before you got there.
Very interesting. Because they actually talk a lot more in Japanese, and it's really precise compared to in English, where they condense it a little more.
So this section, the factory, is very tricky, very difficult. There's a lot of complicated skips going on. Like, we're going to be playing, actually, not a whole lot of the factory once things get started. This place has a number of skips, a number of names for said skips. One of them was named after a YouTube video I uploaded of just a clean run-through of all the skips put together. I didn't mean for that to be the name of it. I just made that the YouTube name just to be funny. But that's neither here nor there. But the factory is very complex. A lot of out of bounds, a lot of skips going on in very quick succession.
It is a very, 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 very complicated part of the run. It's crazy. There's so many different types of tricks you can do here too.
You're doing one right now. If you just talk to Pascal with the dialog box opened up, he doesn't talk, and the load zone waits until he's done talking. Well, if he doesn't talk at all, it loads sooner. So this room full of enemies, what we're going to try to do is get out of bounds and reset our position. And when the game forces a reset on your position from being out of bounds too long, it also kind of resets the enemies. And normally you'd have to kill a bunch of them to get the elevator to come down, but if you just do the out of bounds reset, then it just kind of starts the elevator instantly. Alright, out of bounds 14? Did I lose count? I might have lost count.
Yeah.
Either way, the elevator's here.
At this point, like we're just kind of at the dozen at this point.
Yeah.
There's so many. This part especially just has so much.
Yeah.
We just got
this part
a
here with 9S. It's going to be a similar deal where we're going to go out of bounds to do a reset. And the elevator is going to be locked, but if we do an out of bounds kind of position reset, it kind of unlocks the elevator so we can take it back up.
You can read it now, yeah.
We just got a $10 donation from Anonymous. And we also got a $5 donation from Amy. I apologize if I butchered that. She says, sending love to Vern and Blue. Good luck, everyone. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And this is a precise clip out. And this trick in particular, you want to delay your landing as much as you can. So what we were going to try to do was go down in front of the door here and then be in the air for long enough for the game to reset us back up top. But it's pretty easy to mess that up. So we go down and around to get the mandatory story trigger that we were trying to hit. And we still skipped a lot of the factory, so still not a huge deal.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's just a little slower. It's annoying.
Yeah.
It happens.
The crushers, they do one-shot you up.
Yeah. This crushers can be kind of annoying too. They just straight up one-shot you. So a little scary sometimes when you gotta deal with that. But yeah, no, you lose a little bit of time and it looks less cool. But on the bright side, no, like I said, no soft blocks. You can actually soft block in this section in multiple instances. So.
Yeah, the factory can be pretty scary.
ありがとう
So we'll go up this elevator, fight a boss, and then we'll be pretty much done with the factory already.
But this next part is actually funny because we actually don't want to do a too big of a launch, too big of a lift. If we do, we'll actually soft block the game. Funny enough.
Yeah. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be hanging out at the top of a raised bridge, and it pretty much makes it so the boss can't hit us. We can just chill out up there and just look at him, and he looks at us menacingly. But if you jump too high and go over the bridge, you fall down to the lava, and it doesn't hurt you or kill you or anything. You're just down there looking up at the boss, and you're kind of soft like.
Yeah, the lava's a suggestion here. It's not actually real.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're staying up here for now just because we want to be safe. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're up here or down there, but like you have to dodge and do stuff. And it's not fun.
Yeah, because it's another dialogue locked section. You're just waiting for dialogue.
システム掌握率 80%。2B あと少しです。90%、92、95、98。電源供給を停止させました。2B。
There's another boss that we're just gonna melt away. Oh, looks like you broke one of the legs, I think. Oh well, no biggie. So that's one ball boss. There are 2 ball bosses.
Ball bosses. Sounds really
I'm
funny.
trying to say it in a way that's not too much of a meme.
Yeah. I've actually never thought about calling them that. I'm just gonna start calling them that now.
I just thought of it.
It's funny. Too close.
So this clip out's fairly precise, but you can use a lineup on the minimap to make it fairly easy.
We'll try. I'll just follow.
Although this out of bounds is kind of like walking on a tightrope.
Yeah, it just looks a little weird. You can go all the way, but just want to play it safe, not go all the way.
I think that was out of bounds 16,
Yep.
and because you're doing another one, this will be 17.
That's for
I may have miscounted, but I think this is 17. It's in the same spot as the prologue, but it's done a little bit differently, especially with the help of the spear.
Right, we're reaching the finale. I would consider this part like the final act of the run.
And everything's going nuts. Everything's on fire. Trying to make it back to the camp before everything goes down the toilet too far, and it's like, well, everything's on fire. You gotta kill a bunch of dudes.
We got a couple of donations in. We got a anonymous donation of $10. And we got a $20 donation by Hazmat89. Says, so happy to see one of my very best friends on the marathon stage showing off this game. Good luck on the run, and show those secret bosses who's boss. Proud of you. Thank you so much.
Careful of these enemies here. Like I said, one of the biggest enemies of this whole entire run is the auto lock-on. You're fighting it 24/7 in this whole entire run.
Pretty much.
Oh, there's chaos happening, by the way. Alright.
So we gotta come over here and kill all these enemies, and the stubbies are of course gonna be kind of annoying. You might get some whirly arms.
That can be a little annoying. We got the spinny arms back, you know. Didn't want to see his
Well, my
spinny
other
arms.
favorite is these taller guys, and their bodies just laying there, blocking your movement instead of blowing up in the
Yeah.
air.
They're just there to just waste your time. Alright. So, like Blue said, there's not one ball, there's actually two balls.
Alright, you said it, not me. I was trying to not say it.
There is another ball boss, and it looks exactly like the last ball boss that we fought, so... Same exact idea, except this one spawns enemies, so it can be a little more annoying.
Yeah, if you want to save time on this boss, hit it in the butt, don't hit it in the face. Or when it goes to transform.
You gotta be a little careful
It's
too.
also kind of animation locked, because you want like a short attack. Yeah, hit him in the butt. Because it'll do that self-destruct attack sooner, or less likely to do an attack you don't want if you hit in the butt. Would you say that this is the third ball?
Yeah, basically. It's a spinning ball. There's actually more than two balls here.
So we leave that one up a hill because it's floating off the ground a little bit, and it would be floating above your sword. So when you lead it uphill, it'd make it easier for us to hit it.
トゥービーさん聞こえますか？トゥービーさん、私たちの村が。
Hear me out. This next one is the fourth ball. It's just inside of a snake first.
Oh my god.
We just received a $100 donation from Game Commander. Says much love from a washed-up bingo player. Love to see love seeing Nier community going strong. Thank you so much.
Let's go.
And of course, our totals are right now over $4,000. $4,135.59. So thank you so much for the outpour, community.
Let's go, let's go.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you very much.
It's amazing to hear.
I too know what it's like to be washed.
お気をつけて。
Alright, that is technically another ball boss, by the way.
There are 4 balls.
Alright, so we're about to fight the final boss. Boss has multiple phases.
この強力な通信が敵の機械生命体を凶暴にさせているんだと思います。イブを探し出して破壊
Each
しましょう。
phase is radically different. You can skip one of them if you do it right, but it's really tough.
Oh, that sucks. Thankfully,
You don't see that attack from him too often.
yeah, I never
You
see
can
that.
see with resilience how too we didn't get stunned or anything. She just kind of stood there.
Gotta be careful though, this guy's a lot of
Oh, you almost got platforms.
何それ。
He's going for the phase skip. You gotta be on your A game when it comes to dealing damage and slow-mowing. So what we're gonna try to do is get the dialogue to finish before his health bar fully regenerates.
トゥービー援護して。了解。
But being Japanese, that might be harder.
I got it, nice.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, barely.
Yo, nice.
This thing barely got
Is
it.
Japanese shorter here?
I don't know, I think it saved me actually. I can't believe that.
So that was gonna be phase 2 skip, or it was phase 2 skip. So here's phase 3. he's floating around, and we can only hit him with range attacks and aerials. Or if you're right underneath him, you can hit him with the self-destruct, because his range is actually pretty big.
As safe as possible.
He's got to make sure you do enough damage first, make sure he's taunted, and that you're all buffed.
I'm gonna play it super safe here.
Ooh, you don't want to see that attack.
Got it, nice.
Oh, that one you want to see it, and yep, boom, nice. Alright, here's phase 4. You can no longer do any other attacks except shoot with your pods, so he's gonna fly around like an annoying idiot, so we just gotta hope he's not flying too far away from us a lot. And you gotta stay on top of your buffs too, because he can pretty much two-shot you, and one-shot you if you're not buffed.
Alright. Now we have some dialogue, and that will be the end of the run, so I'll call time when it's time.
Yo, GG's.
Yep. It was a pretty messy run, but you know, we got through it. No soft locks, that's all I care about.
We're underestimate
Yeah.
by about 20 minutes.
Nice, nice. Hope you guys enjoyed it and everything. It was really fun. It's one of my favorite games. I love speedrunning this game. So fun.
It's difficult and complicated, but fun all at the same time.
Yep. Very rewarding. And time.
Alright, that's time.
Alright, GG's,
Very
man.
nice.
GG's. Alright, so some shouts I want to give before I end the run. Shouts to Blue Metal, my commentator here. You know, he taught me almost everything about this run. Appreciate you very much, dude.
Some of it was taught over text chats, which was pretty funny.
Yeah. The Nier Automata community as well. Their resources and everything, and people I've talked to. Always a pleasure to talk to them. Love that, and all my friends and family who are watching at home. Appreciate that as well, and anyone here watching as well. So I appreciate you guys being out here. It's probably my favorite speedrunning game, honestly, and yeah. Enjoy the rest of the event, guys.
I find it funny that you press the self-destruct button like 500 times, only for you to only use it right at the end. Like we were sitting there waiting for the timer to like get reset. I'm just like, oh, he used it.
Yeah,
He used it the one time.
We saved up all the self-destructs for that one moment at the end, you know.
By the
Used
way,
it for its intended purpose.
oh yeah, by the way, coming into this route, like, cause you know I woke up and got down here at like 8, brought this up on screen and like was just watching the tech and I'm like, what is happening? Like, where are we going?
Yeah, it blew my mind. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, this run has a lot of crazy stuff, and like the higher level runners, they do even crazier stuff. Like Blue can attest to this. Like they do some of the most wild things I've ever seen in my life. And this run, beautiful. It's a cool expression of like the player. I think that's what I like about it the most.
Yeah, no, honestly, it just absolutely looked so cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic, yeah.
All right.
25.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm running Final Fantasy X tomorrow at the same exact time, by the way.
All right. Hey, there's currently a bid war going on for that. Apparently, we're $2 up on pronouncing it Titus.
Yeah.
Titus is coming back, though.
Yeah, no, it's my favorite bid war to have, is those two.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. That'll be great.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, give it up for Vermillion and, of course, Blue Metal for that amazing Nier Automata run.